Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? So I have been fairly busy as of recent with work and starting to catch up on a lot of the news that have been, coming out over the past few days. And looks like there was a pretty large download update for the global version of Dokkan Battle. It looks like it was about 741 megabytes, so definitely a pretty large scale data download. And the screenshot you're seeing right now is based off of what Air Dokkan provided in terms of all the different elements that were included with that package. And it looks like new characters, bosses, stickers, equipments, 5th anniversary items for part 1. Super Vegeta, Super Saiyan 2, Goku, Majin Vegeta, Merge Zamasu, Easy A, stuff like that. And this has happened before where they have a pretty large scale download, but they simply just put the assets in for now without any timeline as to when exactly they're going to implement some of the stuff, right? Like 5th anniversary stuff, I mean, they already loaded it in, but Global always gets it in July, so it's kind of like we know why it's there and we know when it's coming, so it's just a matter of just whether global players are able to see the assets and the actual files and whatnot. But the reason why I wanted to do this video is the fact that on top of all this stuff that got loaded in for the global version, there were like potentially ACT items related to this stuff. So I also saw that Hydros did mention this as well, talking about this could potentially be the stamina refill items, and there's obviously 2 different versions. So in my experience with the other gacha games in the past, like I did play Grand Cross when it first came out in JP, and I currently do play the King of Fighters All-Star and other gacha related games, but a lot of those games do have the stamina refill item ability where you don't necessarily have to use the in-game currency like Dragon Stones or Gems or whatever the relevant case is. And to be honest with you, I think it would actually be a pretty good idea to finally get something like that for Dokkan Battle instead of, let's be real for a second. Nobody really wants to use Dragon Stones to refill stamina unless you absolutely have to, or you pretty much are well and you essentially have unlimited funds where Dragonstone's consumption isn't really a problem. So especially with the free-to-play type people, this is actually a pretty good thing potentially where you could just flat out use items to refill stamina, whether you're potentially grinding for Dokkan events to get enough medals to awaken the new units, or maybe during the world tournament would be another one where I could see a lot of value in it, to where you're constantly having to refresh or refill stamina in order to consistently grind in the world tournament. It's kind of funny that we find out about this right now, because right now the world tournament's coming up in JP and global, so it's kind of interesting in terms of the timing aspect of it. But again, we really have no idea in terms of how this item is actually going to get implemented, in terms of how we're able to acquire them. If it's going to be similar to like the weekly events where you go through like an event like for JP, for example, is Training with Whis did it was daily during the 5-year anniversary. Now it's converted over to weekly. Some of those are some of the other events are weekly as well, but whether that's the case or it's going to be daily, like the Peppy Gals, Master Roshi stuff, stuff like that. It's hard to say. My guess, most likely it would be a weekly type deal. Honestly, having these items available, you're really looking at, curbing the consumption of Dragon Stones, to refill stamina. So from quote unquote business standpoint, it wouldn't really make sense to make it readily available in abundance, but I could see something like a weekly type orientation, or maybe on certain celebrations periods, or special events might be a good way to acquire them. Or I don't know, like your guess is as good as mine at this point. But the simple fact is, I played other games that had stamina refill items, and I use them quite a bit. Like King of Fighters All-Star, I play this a lot, on a at least a little bit on a daily basis, and I do use a lot of the stamina refill items for that instead of using the in-game currency, and it's quite beneficial to have because I can at least get my daily grinding done. in Dokkan Battle's perspective, it really could add some value in terms of, grinding for Dokkan events. When a new banner unit comes out, you obviously need 77 medals for that. In some cases, you need a variety of different ones. World Tournament, I could see a lot of value in that as well, because, of course, like if you're trying to get through, all of the, not only missions, but you're trying to get good placement in the rankings or whatever, it's also going to help you, refill stamina versus having to use Dragon Stones for that. So a lot of speculation going on with this, I know, but I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are on it, and if it's a good idea, bad idea, what do you think makes sense, frequency wise, what are you guys' thoughts? Definitely let me know, and I'll definitely be reading up on the comment section. So, well, at the end of the day, hopefully you found this video helpful, and as always, I do appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right, peace out.